Hello, guys. Bet you haven't been expecting a video from me in a while. And yeah, I haven't been particularly motivated to make videos over quite some time. And mainly because obviously my channel basically got any views whatsoever, on YouTube at least, and actually to an extent on Twitch as well, from World of Tanks. And yeah, it's your boy CM. And this is going to be more of an announcement video than anything else. And that's the announcement is two things. One, we got to 2,000 followers on Twitch. Hooray. And I've been planning on doing a giveaway stream for that for ages and finally know when I'm going to be doing it. So for that, we're going to be doing the giveaway on next weekend, which will be the 29th. It'll be the Saturday. It'll be the Saturday 29th of July 2023. And we'll be giving a couple of things away. One, for the people who do still play this game, I will be giving away a World of Tanks VIP code, which comes with a Type 59, 5,000 gold, and 30 premium days. And I do have some smaller codes from Tankfest that are still needing used, so I will be giving those away. They'll include things like, where is it? The one of the Matilda variants that's in the game now. Where is it? I think it's the LVT. I don't remember what else off the top of my head. And I think one of them comes with premium time. I can't remember. I'll go over these on that stream. But I'll also be giving away a Corsair mouse. I'll be giving away one of the Saber Pro mice, which is what I use, and have been using for quite some time. Very happy with it, actually. Fits my hand very well, and I find that it's a nice, comfortable mouse to use. Fairly ergonomic. So, yeah, hopefully see you guys then. But also, I'm going to be announcing my break from World of Tanks. I will be uninstalling, and I don't plan on coming back very often. It's not going to be like as rare as Sir Fosh streaming. So obviously, those of you guys familiar with Sir Fosh, he stopped playing this game regularly in, I think it was either 2019 or 2020, and basically he just does like a yearly like thing where he drops in for like 30 hours, and whereas I'll probably still do the odd stream with a big patch just to see if anything has changed. And don't expect to see me like jumping on and three marking things as often. And it's because I'm burned out. Now, will this be the way forever? No. I don't plan on being away from the game for like a super long time or forever. But I need a break from World of Tanks, guys. And I have other games that I want to stream. And World of Tanks just takes up way too much of my time for it. And I'm also kind of frustrated with the way that the game is right now. And I'm not going to be going into like a great deal of depth, but I'm not happy with a number of things. One, the maps. This is in no particular order as well. One, I feel like the maps are just so poorly designed in terms of layouts generally. There's not many that I generally find fun or engaging to play on. And a lot of them just create kind of stagnant fights or absolute raffle stomps. And to be fair, the raffle stomps and stagnant fights are kind of dependent also on the matchmaking, which I also have a problem with. So that's two. And the general balance of tanks as well is horrendous at the moment. Like, we have things like tier 8, for example, is suffering probably one of the most at the moment, because not only does it have to fight tier 10, which it will struggle with a lot, just to be fair, just like anything, any tier fighting +2, but so it already has that to contend with, but it also has to contend with, tanks at its own tier, like this, and like the Skoda T56, and the BZ176, which might as well be, higher tier tanks themselves for how they perform, and the Borask as well, for that matter. Now, if you guys want to see something a bit more in depth on the problem with tanks like these are actually part of another issue that I have, and that's premium tanks. There are now far too many of them in the game, and wargaming need to be focusing more on consumable, not cosmetics even, focusing more on cosmetics, because I feel like the way that they're doing sales of premiums is generally very predatory and very toxic. And because you've got the loot boxes, you've got the auctions, and I feel like these create too much of a fear of missing out. And it's just not good for the health of the players, for a start, or the game. And I feel like it's driving away a lot of the player base who are in that middle ground between being good at the game or average or below. And this is something that Circon picked up on, but I'll come back to that in a moment. But yeah, I feel like there's too many premium tanks in the game. If you want to see something a bit more in depth, the AwesomeEpicGuys, my friends Edwin and Swatch, they did a great video recently going over the problem with premium tanks. And I will link that video in the description if you guys want to check that out if you haven't already. And on top of that, I don't want to get stuck in the whole sunken cost fallacy. And I will, like I say, I'll probably come back and play this every now and then when there's a big patch. Only when there's a big patch. And but my next issue is, this is actually related to the matchmaking in a way. And Sarkon on his streams has been saying that he feels like the group of players who want to improve the game but haven't quite gotten there, or are slowly getting there, has disappeared completely. Almost, it feels like, is what he was saying. And what he means by that is the people within a certain range of win rates. Now, as far as I remember him saying, now if you do see this, Sarkon, I don't think you will, but if you do see this video, then drop a comment just to confirm this. But I interpret that as being people sat, between 53 and 56% win rate overall. People who are starting to go from the upper greens into what you might call Blunicum in the color coded stats, and these people are becoming very, very rare. And so now you've either got people who are good at the game, like around where I am, or even higher, or you've got people who are not great. There's not really that much of a middle ground anymore in terms of people of players, different skills, different skill levels. So that gap, it feels like, is there and causes a lot of these ruffle stomp matches that you see, because one team will just happen to get more players who are really good at the game, and it also has an effect because of the problem with the balance of tanks as well. You might still have a really good player in something like a 59 Patton, for example, but then if they've got a BZ to go up against, or a Borask or a Skoda, then this thing's not going to do so well, is it? And like, you can even look at the balance in the tech tree, well, between the premiums and the tech tree vehicles as well. There's not really, there's no hiding it. Wargaming are just making these significantly better than the tech tree versions now at tier 8. Like, I don't think anyone can argue that the Skoda T56 is miles better than this thing. And so there is that. And I feel like the monetization of the game has also driven players away. And obviously, this goes to the loot boxes and the auctions, but there will be people who didn't want to see a battle pass in the game. There will be people who didn't want to see World of Tanks Plus, which itself is a shit show. And so, well, was a shit show. They did actually kind of do the right thing and change it to what it should be, but it's still one of those that separates the people who are willing to get that and those who aren't. Now, I don't have a problem with World of Tanks Plus as it is now, but I feel like as a result of that extra income, then there needs to be something seen as far as improvements to the game. And also, I feel like wargaming themselves, as far as they how they like come across when it comes to, and I don't know if they're still like this now, but historically they've always been we have the data, it tells us tank not broken, we know to change. I feel like they rely too much on numbers like what you might see for their, like, maybe win rate stats for a vehicle or average damage stats for a vehicle, because those can be skewed by a lot of people who are maybe not so good with the thing, or maybe not very good players, playing it within a certain period, and then it takes time for those to be brought back to where I think would normally be. But even then, we haven't really seen any balancing that's significant in some time, and it feels like they take like way too long to make any changes that are necessary. Maps I can kind of excuse, because when it comes to maps, you have to not only do anything that's coding related, but you also have to completely redo the 3D model at times as well, and then obviously the mini map for it. So I can see maps taking longer to make changes, but things like tank balance, equipment balance, these should not take so long. Like, when was we haven't seen any significant balance in a long time for vehicles, and we haven't even seen premiums getting nerfed for the ones that should. We've seen maybe a couple of the older ones get buffed a little bit, but we haven't seen anything get nerfed since Type 59 a long time ago. And Wargaming are just too scared to do that. They need to grow a spine. They need to grow a backbone there. Because, yes, people will think, oh, I bought it. It should not be nerfed. Well, here's the thing, right? And this is something that Edwin as Watch brought up. The play. It doesn't matter what the player base thinks at that point. In terms of, it doesn't matter if people think that they own it or not, because there's no thinking about it there. There's no thought there. There's no debate there. And the reason for that is because, well, if you look at the end user license agreement for it, when you buy a premium tank, you're just getting access to something that's already in the game. You don't actually own it. It's still subject to change. It's like subject to wargaming changing it at any time and in any way. So yeah, so there is a problem with the player base, yes, but there is just as much of a problem with wargaming as well. I mean, again, this is something that the AwesomeEpicGuys go over in their video, but you guys can probably hear when I'm talking that I am tired of this game at the moment. I do want it to be the best game that it can be, but at the moment, I just cannot bring myself to play it. It is just far too frustrating at the moment in the current state. So that's why, until such time that I feel like it's in a good place, that I will be uninstalling the game, during the stream on Saturday the 29th, and I will only be coming back for major patches. That's not even a guarantee for every major patch either, because I will be checking to see the content of these patches, and if it's something that I don't feel is worth coming back for to try out, I will just not play it. Besides, I have other things to play. I now have an awesome sponsor for an actually small indie company called for their game called Big Time, which is an MMORPG that I'm actually having quite a bit of fun with at the moment. It's in early access, and so actually pretty impressed with it so far for a free to play early access game. Yeah, and you should drop by and watch the stream. It's a pretty chill game. I've also been having a lot of fun with Escape from Tarkov. I feel like that's an actually pretty rewarding game when you start getting actually pretty good at it. And then there's a whole bunch of other games that I'll be wanting to do playthroughs of that are in my Steam library. So there's that as well. I'm planning on only doing weekend streams, so there will be one tonight. And after this video goes live, and it will be around 8 p.m. UK time. So hopefully, I will see you guys then. So see you guys in the streams, and yeah, hope to see as many of you as possible on the 29th for the not last hurrah, but the last for some time. Catch you later, guys.